Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, Caribbean. Good evening, the world. This is Marcia Weeks, and I am coming to you live from Barbados. Barbados, the most easterly Caribbean island in this region, and we are excited to be with you. We have a fantastic show lined up for you tonight. Kind of somber show, and I want us all to be involved. And so I'm going to ask you to start sharing right away. We're going to have a family talk. One of those family talks again. It's a continuation. You know how it is. So thank you all so very much. I want to say Karibu. Karibu. I was saying Karibu before, and someone says Marcia. That's not the way you pronounce it, Swahili. So it's Karibu Sana. Oh my goodness. Welcome and thank you for joining. Asante Sana. Thank you all so very, very much. And I'm going to ask you kindly to just to like and share. Let me know if you can hear me. Please, somebody let me know. Can you hear me? Let me just welcome those that are on. I'm so happy to be with my family tonight. Junie Rock, good evening. Mass extinction. Oh my Lord, I think we're mass extinction of all of this violence and crime, right? Vernon Garnes, good evening. Teroni, good evening. Oh wow, wonderful, 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 wonderful. Okay, I'm hearing that you're hearing me loud and clear. Owen Hines, how are you? Karibu, welcome, 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 Marcia. Karibu, Mavis, Lashley, thank you for joining. Asante Sana, that is Swahili for thank you. You know, I know the few little words in Swahili, having come back from Kenya, and I'm going to be using it. Yes, yes, sir. Alfred Benjamin, all the way from Brooklyn, New York City. Wonderful, wonderful. Tonight, guys, we are going to have a special show. This is a very, very special show tonight, and everybody is involved. I got the telephone linked up, hooked up to the sound system, and I believe it's going to work tonight. Okay. So please, Judy Jilks, how are you? How are you? I was thinking about you today. I'm glad to see that you're on and you're doing well. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, goodness. Jefferson Sobers, Flo Joe Maloney. Welcome to everybody. Somehow I feel like I've missed people, but welcome to everybody who's joined tonight. It is a pleasure, always a pleasure to serve you in this way. It's a pleasure. Dave is ready to go. We are all ready. This is what we're committed to. This, guys, we're committed to this. We're committed. Today, I when I heard what happened at BCC, where it is alleged that a student was stabbed, and it's not, well, that's what the newspaper said, and we haven't had more details since that. And I thought of my own child that I spoke to in Trinidad today, who is studying there, and how parents send their children to BCC, to the college. And can you imagine, you're home and you're hearing that the place is on lockdown because there's a stabbing there? And I got sad about that. I got sad about that. I got sad because of the impact, on those two that are in the altercation too. They said it's two young men. This is at our tertiary level institution. Um, and as far as I know, there's a security guard there. Don't know. I mean, with the security guard, we're going to talk a little about that tonight. The level of security at these schools and whether we're doing the proper checks, etc. But it was sad. And then hearing that one person died in Christchurch, Vauxhall Christchurch today, and another one was shot. And I got a little sad. And then I was speaking to somebody from, called me from Montserrat, and they shared this Bible scripture with me, and I want to share it with you. If you don't believe in the Bible, then just ignore it. Okay, that's okay. But it's a scripture, and even if someone shares something with me out of the Quran, I listen. I listen. If my Rastafari brothers are reasoning with me, I listen, because there is always something you can learn something from someone. So even if you're a different faith, you might be a whatever faith you are. This is something that I think it is for all of us, and it's from the book in the Bible called Ezekiel 22 verse 30. And it says, "And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none." And what I want us to, what struck out to me, or stood out to me, was I sought for a man or woman among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, to make up the hedge. And tonight I am asking all of us that's on tonight, this is what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you, if listening to this program, viewing this program, you've never shared, you've never liked, you've never shared, I'm asking you to do that, because we've got to trigger the algorithm on this tonight, because tonight I am on here to seek for a man or a woman that would be brave enough to say, we are going to stand in the gap. We're going to make up a hedge. When we put up a hedge, it's a hedge is a protection. And it doesn't have to be seen in a church sense or a spiritual sense, but also in a natural way, where we've set up barriers. We stand in the gap on behalf of our children. Don't we see what is happening? And I know I haven't done the anthem yet, but I wanted to share that scripture with you. Tonight is a real sobering night. And I want us, and I know we've been saying that, I started to collect names of people who are volunteering to do the elevated program in various communities. I've gotten some names already. I've gotten even a counselor who's volunteered from right here in St. Philip. And we're gonna let's get down to nitty gritty tonight again. We've done it before, guys. We can do it again. I'm looking for a man or a woman tonight that will stand in the gap between these children, these young men, and them destroying themselves. Many of us have raised successful children. Many of us have raised children who are never involved in anything like this. The country needs you right now. The country, Barbados, needs you right now. Barbados needs your skills now. Those of you listening from the diaspora, let us gather around this. Barbados needs you. It's obvious that this is out of control. The government cannot. The government is not in a position, folks, to do anything. They're not in a position to do anything. It doesn't seem like what they're doing is working. Would you agree with that? And I think it's time that we stop blaming them and look into them, and the time now that we begin to say, no. We're going to take back our communities. Tonight, I came on here to look for a man and or a woman who is going to stand in the gap, be a boundary, say, devil, violence. I'm going to use my skill sets. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to do what I need to do. Me and my household and I, we are going to stand up. And with that, let us play the national anthem. I'm very militant tonight, guys. Militant. Let's play the national anthem. This is Barbados. This is Barbados. And as I hold this flag in my hand tonight, I pray over Barbados and I speak order where there's disorder. I speak order where there's disorder. I pray for that young man who was stabbed at the Barbados Community College. We pray that he will live and not die. I don't know the condition that he's in. I pray for all those who were shot today. Father, we lift up this country to you, oh God. And we ask for mercy. We ask you for mercy. Amen. Amen. Guys, family, this is a very sober time for Barbados. And before I go into the presentation tonight, again, I'm going to ask you to like and to share, because I believe that tonight is going to be a great night. Tonight, we're going to have so many of you volunteer to work in your communities like never before. I am believing that that is what's going to happen, because we love this country. I've lived in Barbados longer than I've lived in Jamaica. My husband is Barbadian. I have a child who is Barbadian, and my 3 children were raised here. And you were born here. Are we going to let this country go to the dogs? We are enough. We have what it takes, Barbados. Do you believe me? We have what it takes. Many of you have raised successful young people. and you are watching me tonight, the country needs those skills, those parenting skills. We need them. Let's get into the community. Let's get into the communities with these parenting skills. Come on. Some of you used to be on drugs and you're no longer on drugs. Let's get into the communities with those life transforming practices or way of thinking. Let's start to send the children to Sunday school again. It didn't hurt us. It didn't hurt us. It's obviously, what we are doing is not working. There is no program. We just had the football match, didn't we? We just had the football match. And one team won 100,000. We just had it. Wasn't it in December or November? November. Huh? And what has happened? These are noble causes. The Prime Minister today says, or yesterday says, that we have to rescue this generation. And I agree with Prime Minister Mia Mottley. But it needs to be more than just talk, madam. We've got to put the energy where our mouth is. That's how things happen, Madam Prime Minister. That's how. Angela Knight, you are right. Nighttime prayer at dinner table and family discussion. It did not kill us, folks. We cannot go following the world. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to turn out to be a priest and a nun. You don't want to go to Sunday school. Please send the children. You know what it does? It builds a moral compass. Do you understand? There is something inside of you that tells you what is right and what is wrong. What do we have now? We want to thank God for this child who was hit and is now discharged from the hospital. Yesterday, there was a horrible accident with, I think the child was 6 years old. And I saw where the mother, the child is home now. I give God thanks for that. Huh? Folks, I know some of you don't. I personally think that it is important that we go back to faith. I'm not here trying to tell you what faith. We need something. We need supernatural help. And notice I say we need help, because some people, all they want to do is pray. Some of these church people, all you want to do is pray. No. Open up your church doors in the evening. Let us have a conversation. Open up the church doors in the evening for after school programs. Yes. The churches that are locked up between Sunday to Sunday. Please mark my word this evening here, February 5th, 2024. I'm going to tell you something. I said it today to someone I was speaking with, a young person, Zico. And I said, Zico, I am amazed at how calm Barbadians are. I am amazed at how calm you all are. I'm not calm. You know why I'm not calm? Because I grew up in it. Coming to Barbados was an escape for me as well. I didn't have to hear gunshots at night. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What's happening in Barbados right now? It's like what happens in one of the communities. Take, for example, Tivoli Gardens or Rima, Grand Spen, Big Lane, where I am from. This is the kind of thing that happens every day. But you say, well, because Jamaica is big, sometimes it happens in one place and you don't hear. But you must remember that Barbados is one parish in size. Could be St. Catherine, where I'm from. Do you understand? And so if you were now to multiply this by 14, the 14 different parishes, you would see how serious this situation is. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? This tonight, it's not salacious. I know a lot of people, none of you not going to want to even join this tonight. But I say to Barbados, we are too calm about it. Let me go in the comment section because I want this section to be between myself and you, the people. I'm just going through the somebody says there's a group of people that want to listen to me. Whatever the group is, I don't know. There's a lot of rumors going around about this particular group of people, and I'm being honest. You see, that's the thing. We can't get anywhere if we're not being honest. But there's a group of people that almost nobody wants to touch them. But everybody talking about it. Barbadians, we need to reach the point where we say all stones. We're gonna uproot and turn over all stones and look underneath it. We're gonna lift up every cover and we're gonna look under every cover. Do you understand me? It's gonna take a holistic effort. Yes, there is a petition concerning Vibes Cartel, and some people they don't think that matters, but it matters. It's a holistic effort. We cannot have somebody that has represented that for so many years walk into Barbados and to go on our stage and we don't know what he's going to sing. In this situation, we could have heard of a murder at the community college. We can hear of a murder at our schools there, at Grantley Adams or whichever school it is. It doesn't matter because it's at community college. I am saying, Barbados, lift up every stone. Look and find where this problem is. We are enough. If our government and our leaders don't have it, let the community rise up. After all, this is our country. This is our country. What do we have left for our grandchildren? What is going to happen? We're going to be like Jamaica and everybody pack up and leave the country and leave it for tyrants to run up and down and mash up the place? Is that what we want? Everybody to run off to Canada? Well, they can't run to the US now. Not too fast. But to get up and lift out of here, to go to a safer place and leave the country in this state. Joshua says if Bajans want to continue to be my guest, but the time is now. Joshua, it is our responsibility to wake up people. Nighttime prayer at dinner table and family discussion. Because a lot of us, we don't want nothing to do with faith. We throw away the baby and the bathwater. Yes, I know the whole thing, has come with certain things. The way things were presented to us, was not the best way. But you don't throw away the baby and the bathwater. We have to invest financially in the youth. And so this is what I'm saying to the Prime Minister, and Maxine McClean is going to come on later, and we're going to talk about some of these things. Genuine action, concerted efforts, diligence. Angela, I love those words. It's a call for genuine action tonight, concerted efforts and diligence. And you might say, Marcia, what can I do? Think about your community. Someone from St. Philip called me and they said, Marcia, I have a building and I am a counselor, and I want to help my community. And I said to her, well, probably what we can team up is to try to get some people in St. Philip to donate their time for an after-school program at that facility that you have. Then we invite the students to come in the community. That's all it takes. Why is it that we have to wait on an MP to do it? You don't see that the MP is not interested. It's time that we, the citizens of Barbados, Errol Barrow's children, the father of independence, the get up and do Barbadians. That's who we are. Yes, Easy D. We agreeing tonight. I say that the more we listen, it's either, I'm telling you, to the 5th, February the 5th, 2025. Listen to what I'm saying to us tonight. Will we stop for a moment? Anytime you find that you're going to blame the MP and you're going to blame the government and you're going to ask yourself and the church, ask yourself the question, what am I doing? Yes, there's a church locked up down the road there, and I plan to go and ask them about that church. That church is only open on a Sunday, and it's a building. It's a building that's locked up, that children could be having after-school programs. And don't blame the pastors for that. Let the community rise up. There's a mosque down the street. There's a temple somewhere. Let these become places of refuge. Let these places of faith become places of refuge for the people of Barbados, for young people. I don't know if Dave can show some of those that I sent via email. some of those pictures. I want to bring it before you because some of you don't want to look at it. Because you drive in your car with your windows, tinted windows up. You get out and you put on your shades and you quickly get into your office. And you do the same thing to get home and lock up your gate. And you lock up all and lock and key inside. And you have your licensed firearm. And the police, you've got it all worked out to protect yourself and your family, so you don't care one hell about anybody else. I'm speaking to you that have resources, not just financial, but you know how to put a company to bring to a company. You know how to manage a company. You know how to do that. You know how to manage a company. You know how to build a company from scratch all the way up. I'm talking to you. Barbados needs those skills to deal with some of these social problems. Are we going to sit down every day and complain? I understand that, as I keep saying, because some of you message and thinking that I'm trying to get the government off the hook. No, I'm not. I am saying there comes a time, people, everybody's going to have to pick up a plow and a fork. You see these young men on here? Do you see our young men? You see our young men? Some of you have daughters. Where they're going to get husbands from? Most of us, before we could even think of what happened at BCC, we already knew it was two young men, because we see it in the newspaper every day. Right? Nice. Look at these three young men. Stop a moment here. Dave, make this as big as you can. If I don't know if this is the biggest that you can get it. Look at them. You think they feel proud? Look at them. Look at them. Look at these young men. I want us to pause and I wanted to imagine how they grew up. Imagine their situation. Imagine the household that they're from. Do they have fathers? Did they ever have fathers? These are all black men. Negroid features. The nose. Look at the hair. Look at them. Don't skip past them. Try to, when I see the pictures, I stop and I pause and I think about my three sons. Somebody saying that we have a leader that don't believe in God. But listen, let me tell you something. Well, let the people pray. And let the people rise up. You don't understand the power of the people, you know. The voice of the people is the voice of God. Look at what happened. The whole country was praying for that little boy yesterday. You think anybody, if somebody said, oh, let us pray for the little boy who got hit, anybody would say, stop that religious thing? You know how many persons were praying? I saw a Muslim man sent it out. And Steve Moore, you're saying them got mouth. No, it's us. It's us. All of us. This is all those young them. It's all a big. We created this mess. We did. Some of you, you don't want me to come on here and to speak about this. You want me to come all the time, and we're telling off the government. There's a time and a place for everything. Let's look at another picture, Dave. Don't be in denial. I agree with your mass extinction. There's some people in this country that are in serious denial. Well, you know, Teroni says that there's a group that knows everything that the government is doing. So that about the government. And we've been hearing all kinds of rumors. The thing is that the people, Barbados, don't underestimate your power. As I said before, get mad about it. Get upset about it. Get serious about it. Get militant about it. And decide that there'll be no stone that will be not turned over. We're going to turn over every stone in here. You're right. They were coming to New York as refugees. Guys, please share the live. Please share the live. See, that's there are some of you on here. I've come to the conclusion that some people are born in Barbados. This is where born, but you have no interest in this country. I can still see people on here. They're not even talking about these young men. They're not talking about what has happened. They are still caught up in telling of people, etc. Right? Yes, Nikki T, I understand that the church, some church, don't say that all the churches. We saw on here where Apostle Lucille Baird was in the community, and she's always been in the community, and not just her. There's Apostle Margaret Breedy. There are so many others, Canterbury, David Durant, who I know that they do work in the community. So that's not fair to say, none of the churches. I am just saying, I'm making a special emphasis on churches. I'm not blaming pastors. I'm saying members, if you're a member of a church, go with a program. Go with an after school program. Call me and let us work on it together. We can create the elevated programs all over Barbados, All we need is people within the communities that are going to spend a little time with the children. I've been trying here in the community that I'm in Bel Air. I've been trying now for a year. And you know what? Some of the people who are retired, they tell me they use their time to knit and to sew. So when you're in your house knitting and sewing and somebody jump over your fence and come and take your needle and your crochet needle and whatever it is you're knitting from you, plus all of the other things in your house that you consider valuable, what are you going to do? Yes, we need buy-in. But I believe that if the citizens become serious, you see, when the citizens become serious, all of those people that taking our money and have been getting rich off of us in this country, all those businesses, because if we don't buy, if we the little black ones don't buy, because you don't see you don't see no white children getting shot. You see any little white boys? You see any little white boys here that we're showing you? You see any little 15-year-old white boys? Don't mind that they have a lot of drugs in their community, a lot of cocaine. And when they can't manage them, they send them overseas to clean up their lives. They have the money to send them to rehab. They don't need to go and rob anywhere to get money for cocaine and for Molly, because they have the money to buy the drugs. But our black children they're the ones on this drug here. I'm being told over and over that when they take the Molly, they lose all inhibition and they feel they can take on the world. Yes, there are lots of community centers as well. So why don't we have homework programs, after school programs? And you might be saying, but Marcia, the guys on the block right now, the after school programs can't reach them. But we have to start somewhere. That's why I said to you guys, because sometimes what we do, there are ideas and then we just tear it down. Not realizing that we need a multi-pronged approach, as ECD says. You're going to, yes, government has to do what they have to do. And you see, when the citizens come together, they will then demand of the government what they need to do. But the citizens must first understand their role. Yes, Kenneth, agree. Some people cannot afford dinner, but there's no dinner table. When you were younger, did you have a dinner table? I didn't always have a dinner table in Jamaica. But even if you're sitting under the tree, you pray before you eat your food. So someone is saying we can pray at the dinner table, and Kenneth is saying some people don't have a dinner table. Don't pray at the dinner table if you don't have it. The operative thing there is a prayer. So Nikki T, the church does not function as it was designed. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit down and watch our young boys or young men, black young men, continue to kill themselves. It's like a genocide that is happening right in front of our eyes. What could be so wrong that you dress up and go to BCC this morning and decide that you're going to stab each other? We are stakeholders in our children's lives, in our communities. Yes, we are. Listen, I understand, but I'm not asking for, this is not called to the pastor. We're asking for the churches to open their open up their doors and allow the children to go in and with responsible adults to conduct after school care programs. Make it widespread. Yes, Allison, and I'm glad you brought that up. I am glad you brought that up. This is why I say, Allison Weeks, my namesake, that we have the people with the skills. You see how you say that? You recognize that we would need proper administration. You are an administrator. I know that. Because I know the level of education that you have and and your skills. I know of it. background and criminal checks to protect the children. Yes, Alison. So let's do it. Now look at what Ricky, and I'm glad we're looking at this because we're discussing tonight. Ricky Reed says, the church very right. So that meaning the church is very right to close the doors from the people when they open up the church and the criminals go in and carry away the church things. The pretty talkers going to replace them. So it's all about the things in the church. Can I give you a little story? What I'm suggesting is what I have done. I don't have a church, but I have a school. And when our school was in town, we open up our schools for several dance groups. Who are these dance groups? These are guys that are on the blocks that were doing pasa pasa. You remember pasa pasa dance? And I remember they were trying to close down the pasa pasa when it was started in Barbados. They were seeking to close them down because they said that it was coming from Jamaica and it was causing a lot, it was going to cause a lot of issues, right? And they had one at a club Extreme. That's the name of it. Anybody remember? You know what I did? I put on my clothes and I went to Club Extreme. I did. I wanted to see what these young men were doing because it attracted a lot of young men. When I got there, I saw they were just having fun. I went to the bar to see what was happening. They weren't selling alcohol. They told me that's what they told me to the minors. But primarily, it was just fun. They were dancing and rivaling each other. And I left there and I said to my people at my school, I said, well, let's form a pasa pasa group. They said, Auntie Marcia, you're crazy. I said, yes, we're going to have a pasa pasa group. We went and we got the boys off the blocks and brought them to the studio. And we had a pasa pasa group. Dancing pasa pasa, called New Era. And you know what? We put in some of the other children. Everybody wasn't from the blocks. My sons were involved in it. Other people's children. I won't call everybody's name. And we went and we competed. And so we made friends with other groups. And these were guys that were tough guys, not children. Okay? We invited them in the studio because we had a studio with a mirror rehearsing, but they rehearsed under the street light on outside. And I said to them, well, they came. A lady was working with them, and she said, Marcia, can we borrow this? Can we use your studio? What's the fee? I know they can't pay anything. I tell them, come. And they came and they brought others with them. And you know what? There was a time that they stole everything out of the fridge. All the drinks they drank out of every plus. Every plus they drank out the fridge. Some of those same boys that were in our group, the nice mirror I have in my dance studio, them dance and kick it and mash it up. I had to buy new things. Sometimes they take away. We brought in other people that take all of the money out the till. Did I let that stop me? No. You're going to have some of that. So we had to put some things in place. And would you believe, though, some of those same guys were policing the ones that were calling me and said, Mrs. Weeks, this is a group that took up the thing, and I don't want them to come back in here. And they were handling it for us when we weren't there. One of these days, I'll get that lady to come on here and to speak. So don't get caught up with all of those material things, right? Don't get them caught up. Don't get caught up with all of that. Yes, all of we, all of we, all of you and we, heart of the nation. It's all of us. Yeah? Yes, Andrea, I agree with you. I agree with you, but there comes a time when the citizens have to do something. And that's part of what the citizens will ask the government for. So I'm not excusing the government. Today, I'm speaking to the citizens. What can you, Andrea, do in your community? Tony Paris, what can you do? I'm looking for men and women tonight. Hasbro, what can you do? Lucinda Aline, Nikki Tay, Angela Knight. V. Hoy, Judy Jilks, Rosaline Corbin. Tony Paris, Square 4. Richard Mayers, Sharon Innes, I'm asking you, what can you do? Nikki Tay, Joy and Faith, Easy D, Allison Weeks, Andrea Moore, Esther Blue. These are the guys. These are the guys here that we were working with. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It was not easy. Sometimes you feel like you're tearing out out your hair. I pick up myself. I don't know what I was thinking. This is Zico there. This is Zico John. Zico's life is changed now. Zico was part of it. That's Zico right there in the front. The front left on the screen. That's Zico John, folks. I'm telling you, it can work. I'm glad my boys were part of it. My son is now in LA working. The other one is at the university working. I thank God for them. Some of these are chefs and some of these are businesses. This one in the middle, I saw him. He came with his wife and daughter Christmas to look for me. Folks, let's get out there. Let's get out there. Let's do it. Let's do it. If we keep on blaming somebody else, we're going to be at this spot next year or worse. Yeah? I want us to really, really be thinking tonight about being the change. Being the change. I want to ask us this question. Is crime a choice for these men, young men, or are young Black Barbadian men being set up to fail? Is it a choice for them, or are they being set up to fail? That's our son there, our middle son, who is now working at the university, coming up in the arts from they were little. Somebody said the child who is not loved by the community may burn down the community. That is a saying, correct? The way some of us treat these murders, somebody said they lay the bed, they die, they make up the bed, they're going to lay down in it, and all of these different things. And I understand that as well. So you see that you are people like you, Ryan. You are not you're you're get yourself distracted. Nobody's here preaching Bible. Nobody's here doing that. Do you understand? And this is what I mean. And I appreciate that some of you are on here not for you don't want it, you're not interested in any change. Right? You're not interested in any change. Okay? As Angela is saying, that the men die prematurely and the women are left behind to struggle. It involves all of us. It involves all of us. We are losing an entire generation, folks. The big question is, will we act now or will we wait until it is too late? You could come on and you could curse the Bible and you could curse the church and you could curse the government and you could curse everybody. But when it's all said and done, the question is, will we act now or will we wait until it's too late when we've lost an entire generation? Correct. The village needs raising now. Yeah. So the question is, will we act now or will we wait until it is too late? And I'm in no way saying that the government is not responsible. I'm not saying that at all. I am calling tonight. I'm calling in this segment of the show because Miss McClean is going to come on and she is going to highlight some of the challenges that the youth are facing because of policies of the government. And we understand that. I want to ask us to sign the petition. There is a petition for positive influence and renouncement of violence. And the petition, it's one of many, many, many initiatives that's necessary. Initiatives that are not happening on the show, initiatives that are happening in churches, initiatives all over Barbados. It's one of many initiatives. And I'm going to ask Dave, if Dave, you could put up the petition for me. Adriana says that she's already signed the petition. Thank you, Adriana. Anybody else has signed the petition? Waiting for Dave to put it up on the screen so I can read it. How many of you have signed the petition? So you could say, well, we need to find the source of the guns. We've been saying that on the show all the time. It is something that we speak about regularly on the show. Okay? Now, this is just one initiative. We just talk about after school programs. That's another initiative through the Elevated for Learning, right? That is only, so that we two initiatives there. We're going to talk about government and what they need to do a little later in the program. 3. Do you see what I'm saying? It's holistic, multi-pronged. This is a prong here. Okay? I don't know if Dave is able to. Dave, signal to me whether you're going to be able to put up the because my guest is going to join me, should be joining me very soon. I really hope that okay, I'm not seeing my 8 o'clock guest. I'm gonna see if Miss McClean can join me a little earlier. Then she's always ready. Sorry about that. I just had to take care of that admin issue. Okay, I think Dave seemed to be having a problem with that. Let me see if I am able to share it. Okay, so this is the petition here, a call for positive influence and a renouncement of violence at the Vibes Cartel concert. And I boldly say that I am so supportive of this, right? We need 20 signatures to move it to the next goal. I'm asking everybody on here, this is not an end all, but it is something. It is something. I commend former minister of sports, youth, and culture for having the boldness and the presence of mind to get up and to suggest something like this. We, the concerned citizens, it reads, of Barbados, write to you in light of the alarming surge in serious crime, including gun violence and murder, that has deeply affected our nation. Particularly troubling is the increasing involvement of our youth in these violent acts. As an artist with immense influence, especially among the younger generation, your music plays a significant role in shaping their perspectives and behaviors. With your planned performance in Barbados on Easter Sunday, April 2025, we take this opportunity to call on you at the event to publicly renounce violence in all forms and to stand in solidarity with our efforts here in Barbados to save our youth from the path of crime. In light of this, we respectfully request that on April 20th, 2025, Easter Sunday, you use your platform to promote messages of peace and positive change. Because everybody's saying that he has changed. Well, it should not be a problem to do it then. Refrain from performing any songs that contain lewd, profane, or violent lyrics that may encourage criminal behavior. Demonstrate through your performance that you support the movement to create a safer Barbados and stand against crime in all its forms. We believe that artists, as influential figures, have a responsibility to use their talents for the greater good. This is an opportunity for you to show the people of Barbados that you stand for peace, unity, and progress. We urge you to take this step and be part of the solution. Sincerely, the concerned citizens of Barbados. I have no issues with that. Have no issues with it. We have no issues with that. A holistic approach, looking at it from all different angles. Okay, so I say, guys, let us find the petition, and it is the petition. We've put the link. I'm gonna see if I can get the link in the actual chat here. Okay, let's see if we can get the Dave, if we can get the link. I think you probably have put it in the chat already. Yes, right. So the link is in the chat here. Yes, the link is right there in the chat. It was put in at 8:06 p.m. Go ahead and you know, copy it and keep it, and so that you can sign the petition. This petition and this letter will be sent to the management, to Vibes Cartel's management in Jamaica, and a copy of it will be sent to the government of Barbados. Is this the only thing that we're to do? No. Is music the only cause? No, absolutely not. Do we need to know where the source of the guns are coming from? Yes. Where the guns are coming from? Yes, we need to. Do we need to pressure the police service and the government to go and find the sources? Yes. Or tell the people where, because sometimes they know. Tell us where the source is. And is it that because the idea came from a former minister that you don't want to take the idea? You don't want to do it because it came from somebody else? There are 550 of us, and I know because of what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you are not going to join, but that's okay, right? Yeah. So I say, what do I say? I say, let's start somewhere. Of course, Angela. And to those of you who you are saying this is a bad idea, it's not going to make sense, do something. What are you doing? Anytime you hear somebody, they're going to criticize, ask them, tell me what you're doing. Let me join you. What is it that you are doing about this situation? Let me join you. Thank you, Jacqueline. Jacqueline just signed the petition. Is that Jacqueline from St. Philip? Exactly, Sharon. So one is lewd and crude, one of his songs, and one is about God. So what we're saying, don't come with the lewd and crude. It shouldn't be that difficult. And people are saying, but that's going against what he sings. But he does. He has songs that he has sung for schools and all of that. I've seen it. I've followed his career. He has material. It doesn't have to be shot in the head and the brains fly out and the blood going to gush out. No, it don't have to be that. And it don't have to be talking about inside of a woman and all of. No, it don't have to be all of that. If it is that he's reformed, well, let him come and sing things that are positive. The petition, Dave, they're asking where they can find the petition. Just put the petition again. SH at 8:10 you asked the question, and I think Dave is going to put the question in right now. I'm going to put the petition in right now. 564 of us sign the petition, please. Tony Paris said he just signed the petition. So if you look at 8:10 in the chat, the petition was placed there. The petition, when it is signed, it is going to go to Vibes Cartel management team, and a copy will go to the government. And again, I say to those of you who say this is a waste of time, let us know what you are doing so we can join with you. I mean that sincerely. Tonight, we're looking for men and we're looking for women that are going to stand in the gap and create a hedge around our children. SH, did you find the petition? Look at 8:10 p.m. in the chat. Marie Watson, yes, you signed the petition. I see Miss McClean is getting ready. Marie, sign and sharing. Thank you, Marie, for saying that to me. Guys, when you sign, you share. You sign and you share. Does this mean that this is going to solve the problem in Barbados? We're not saying that, but we are being part of the solution and not part of the complaining group. Yes, SH just signed. Thank you, SH. Thank you. Can we at least move it to 100 people tonight? Thank you, Easy D, for signing. And this is what I'm talking about. We know Easy D and us, and a lot of us on here, we don't necessarily agree on everything. But this is one thing I believe that we should all agree on. I do not believe that we should let politics separate us on this matter. We're talking about our children. I'm dead serious about it. I am dead serious about it. And I would not be a responsible person to come on here and ignore what's happening to our children. I don't care if you don't want to watch the program. But what would be the point? So thank you, Easy D, for showing that maturity. It came from an ex-DLP minister, but Easy D, we know Easy D don't really love the DLP too much, but Easy D went and signed it. That is maturity. That's a love for country, patriotism, going above. And I'm just saying, folks, if we've got to do that. That's what this requires. The Prime Minister saying that we cannot lose a generation. She is correct. All we want to say to you, Prime Minister, is that, listen, you've got to put the money and the mouth and the energy. It's more than speeches now, Prime Minister. Prime Minister Motley, it can't be just speeches. I have to put my hand to the plow and you have to put your hand to the plow. Thank you, Nikite. Let's take this up to 100 tonight. I think Miss McClean is ready. I think so. Let her give me a thumbs up. She said she's ready. Yes, Ross Dread, all need to play their part. Now, I'm going to leave a section of the program tonight for you to call in, okay? So let's hope that we can get that done tonight. All right. Okay, Miss McClean is here. Good night, Lady McClean. How are
How are
you?
you? Good night. I've been listening, and I trust that people would take your advice. I'm doing all right. A little problem with this shoulder, but maybe that's old age. But anyhow, the physiotherapist is working on it. So
Okay,
I call it
okay.
an old injury.
Old
Uh,
injury. Okay.
yeah, carrying computers when you had large computers and that kind of thing. So luggage
Mm-hmm.
and all in the name of service to country. But
I know, I know. It catches up with you sometimes, eh?
yes. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I listened, and I've been watching. The year has just started, and I really recognize that you have been highlighting the need for all of us to address what I see to be the country going down a very going down very quickly, a very slippery slope. You know, my and you were talking about community. You sent me, and many other people sent me, I think it was an Instagram post by the Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened just a little while ago because I listened to you. I mean, even though I have ideas of what I want to say, I like to hear
Mm-hmm.
how the program is going so that I can seek to complement or and add to what is going on. So as I was listening to you, I listened to some of what the Prime Minister said, and I wrote down a synopsis, a little bit of what she said, and these I didn't take it down
Miss McClean, I
verbatim.
can actually seem like I can actually play it.
Play, could you play it
Dave
where
is
it
not,
says
you're
my
right, he's
brothers and
not at it,
sisters,
yeah,
and
at his regular
whatever.
post tonight. So just give him a,
If you can post that, it would, because
let
I'm
me
gonna,
see.
in part of what I say, I'm gonna react to that
Yeah,
because
let me see if I could
we talk
play
about
it.
community, but there's a role for government as well. And having sat in government, I understand the
Yeah.
importance of government policy.
Will you remember the words? For what? A moment of power, a false sense of security. Let me quote, until the philosophy which hold one way superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war. Will you remember the words? My brothers and sisters, if we do not act, we risk losing an entire generation. Not to war in the traditional sense, but to a war of the mind, a war of the soul, a war of hopelessness. And we must ask ourselves truly, how did we get here? How did we, the children of revolutionaries, the children of freedom fighters, the children of the salt of earth who built this region through blood, sweat, and tears, how did we get here? How have we allowed this cycle to continue? Yet, when we look at today's music, what do we see? Too often, we see lyrics that celebrate violence, that degrade women, that glorify a lifestyle that leads only to prison or to a grave. And I say this not to condemn, but I say it to challenge us. If our goal is to shock people for 5 seconds of fame, then so be it. But if your goal is to be a true artist, if your goal is to leave behind something that will outlive you, then I say this, let us learn from Bob. Because true artistry does not just entertain, it enlightens. True artistry does not just reflect the world as it is, it imagines the world as it could be. Bob Marley proved that you can be proudly Caribbean and still change the world. And for what? A moment of power, a false sense of security.
Okay, so that was it. And if you would permit me, Miss
And for
McClean,
what?
Sure.
just a minute,
A
to
false
put
sense of
everything in context. So as people listened to the Prime Minister, and I'm doing Dave what Dave would normally do because I know you sent it to him.
He says he's back, so I
Right,
noticed it.
right. Somebody wrote here asking the Prime Minister, are we allowing an artist to perform in Barbados on Easter Sunday? Because she was speaking about artists, okay? Somebody wrote, Howard Maynard wrote, the morals, values, and discipline gone. Somebody wrote, else wrote, Cedric 5591 says, well, when you place partying, fetting, reveling above discipline, morals, religious instruction, encourage a level of marijuana use, thereby cause the drug trade to develop all the way to the primary schools, lower the standards of deportment in the schools, allow the ZR culture to thrive, allow cost of living to escalate out of hand, thereby creating a major gulf between the haves and the have-nots. Tell me when to stop, because I could go on and on. Well, then the chickens have eventually come home to roost. Welcome home, chickens to Barbados and the region. Right?
Yes.
And one more says, but you guys in high office are very complicit in the criminality. You guys have artists on retainers who sing nothing but violence, the degradation of women on your political platforms and national events. Those same elements are part of the parcel of the criminal elements lurking in the dark and daylight of our country, part and parcel of the subculture. Let us call it for what it is. We have ministers of government posting at events with persons known to the police, and this alone is very counterproductive. And I'm really hoping that Dave could put up some of these comments, Miss McClean. I'm going to see if he can, but go ahead, Miss McClean.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for playing the comment and also to raise those things, because I wrote down here, as we had discussed, I was going to talk about as I titled it, the economic and social impact of the current environment now and in the future, and within the context of what is happening, particularly with our young men. But I wrote this down, and I took some notes as I was listening. And the Prime Minister said, my brothers and sisters, basically, if we do not act, we stand to lose a generation. And as you just heard, members of the loyal opposition persons viewing the program, this is part of a comment made by the Prime Minister of Barbados, and it is being widely circulated. As I listened to her, I was reminded that the Prime Minister does have the gift of communication. She's very articulate, very good on words. But I think, unfortunately, as I watch, and I will speak very frankly, I make no apologies, because people will talk about parties and politics. I am a politician, yes. I've served this country as a minister of government and a senator and all of that for a decade. But before that, I was very much involved, and I continue to be involved. I am also one of a 4-generational family in which there are many young men under 35 years old, more young males than females in my family at that age. And so the other thing was, the Prime Minister went on to ask us, how did we get here? We've heard that in relation to the economy. We've heard it in relation to what we are facing now. I mean, it is chilling, but it's also people are also becoming numbed by what we are hearing day after day. The year has just started, and we have lost 8 lives, if I'm correct. It does not tell us about the amount of people who have been wounded. The most recent one, we heard of a death and 2 people wounded. We do not know the nature of their injuries, and so you spoke about what we must do as individual citizens, as communities, but I'm going to take what I call a macro perspective in my early comments. And I can tell you, Prime Minister, as you described, how did we get here? It didn't happen overnight, but I suggest to Madam Prime Minister that you start, and this is to you as Prime Minister, to all of us, as Marcia was calling, with some serious introspection. And I pose the question to the Prime Minister, to the members of our cabinet, to all people in political life, religious life, to individuals, and so on. And you made the point, Marcia, so I'm reiterating something you've made. And my question is, how have I contributed by my actions or by my non-action to make the situation worse? Because as I said, it did not happen overnight. But I recall ridiculing positions when people talk, and I won't say people, David Thompson, as leader of the opposition at the time, talked about families first. And he talked about crime and violence, and people ridiculed that. And at more recent times, when there was a truism, when the Prime Minister, the late Prime Minister, spoke about Barbados being more than an economy, it is a society. I heard people in the media, broadcast journalists and so on, making fun and suggesting, you know, that that was an obvious thing. But no, what that is saying, Marcia and colleagues, is that when we start to shape economic activity, it is not done for the sake of you know, economic results. It is done to facilitate the maintenance, the survival, and the prosperity of a society. And therefore, when we see our young men killing one another, when we see our children becoming numb by drug substances that they don't even understand, because when we look at the census violence, it was only recently when you had work about, when you were discussing, I think it was with Dale Rowe, about Molly and what that does and who takes it. Because I have wondered, how does somebody open a semi-automatic rifle on somebody that was probably their neighbor once, their friend, business partner, even if in shady business? And so what I am really concerned about is how have we done that? And so we have, as you say, to demonstrate by our actions, whether it's personal or professional. And in the case of the Prime Minister, political decisions. And when because people seem to misuse the word political, and political decisions are all about decisions made by government. Partisan political is when you use your political office or whatever to take care of your own people. I'm talking about the policymakers who run this country, who influence the running of this country. That when we have to look at how we have prioritized the use of our resources, which interests take precedence. You know, we've heard about Joe's River. We've heard complaints. I go to Brandon's almost every day. I was there up to this morning. I've seen residents complain there about a project. And I've seen another aspect of that project developed, and people raise concerns about certain things. But then there was this attitude, well, you know who it is, so whatever. So my point is that in asking and answering the question, how did we get here and what must we do to get from this point to a better place? I would say to the Prime Minister, a lot of work sits on your shoulders as Prime Minister. Your influence, even as opposition leader, we know was significant. And so I think that we have to call on the powers that be, the political powers that be, to make things available. Because at the end of the day, if I focus on the young men, for example, we have 16-year-olds charged for murder. And the question is why? Why is it that a 16-year-old can find himself and maybe herself too, because we are seeing young women and girls getting involved in a level of violence that can end in death? What is happening that people can be so angry or aggressive and so on? Is that out of some level of frustration? I mean, we talk about values and all of these things. And therefore, one of the things I think that must happen, Marcia, is that in analyzing that situation, we really have to spend some time to be honest with ourselves and look at the statistics. I was trying to find some information on the numbers of young people, children, and young adults who exit our educational system on an annual basis. And I couldn't easily find those. That is something that we should be able to touch base on, you know, because if we don't know who is out there, what their situation is, are we able to offer the best solutions? And the Prime Minister included in her comment, I think there was something talking about the minds, we're in a battle for a war, it says a war of the mind, a war of the soul, a war of hopelessness. And to my mind, that is diagnostic. And having diagnosed it, what exactly are we doing to secure the minds of children? And I must say that as we call on communities to do things, the securing of the minds of children cannot be achieved by contradictory behaviors and messages. And that is important. So it is important that we look at what messages we are sending out there. I sent a video, Marcia, because one of the things that we have to, we can't wait until our children are young adults, 16, 18 or whatever. We have to influence the children. And a lot of us have been following a young man, the president of Burkina Faso. I mean, so many people have followed him, but to me, it is like, for me, I follow him consistently. And I want Dave to show perhaps the first 7 minutes of this, because this is a president who decided, we know it was a military coup, and we can talk about that another time, but in terms of what has happened, this young man has been transformational in a country where somebody like himself tried it some years ago and would have been assassinated. People have tried to kill him maybe almost 20 times now. But I want us to listen to this. And this is President Traoré visiting a primary school.
Salut, ça va? Ça va bien? Il y a beaucoup de choses à venir, beaucoup de choses plus intéressantes.
The future is bright. There is more to come. This is because we are rich. Our country is very rich. Contrary to what you teach, saying that our country is poor. That's it, right? Do you still teach that? No. Burkina Faso is a very rich country and is the heart of West Africa. The downfall of Burkina Faso is the downfall of West Africa. This is a lesson on Pan-Africanism from Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso. When Captain Ibrahim Traoré visited a primary school, he didn't just greet the students, he inspired them. Speaking with both students and teachers, he emphasized the importance of Pan-Africanism, unity, and patriotism. His message: the future of Burkina Faso and Africa lies in the hands of those who are educated, disciplined, and proud of their roots. Watch as he shares powerful words that ignite hope and determination in the next generation. Watch till the end and share your thoughts. As President Ibrahim Traoré arrived at the primary school, he was greeted by enthusiastic students and teachers. With a warm smile, he engaged the children in conversation, asking about their well-being and their studies. "Good morning. How are you all doing?" he asked, receiving cheerful responses from the students. "Are you studying well? What are you learning this morning? Calculations, dictation, or reading?" The students eagerly responded that they were practicing reading. The president, showing great interest, asked about their specific lessons and encouraged them to work hard. "Much courage to you all. Keep working hard and respect your teacher and elders," he advised. "We will come back to see you later." As the visit continued, President Traoré moved to another classroom where younger students were practicing numbers. He took a moment to sit with them, observing their work and commending their dedication. "This morning's lesson is mathematics." "That's excellent. Who loves mathematics?" he asked. The children excitedly raised their hands. "That's great. We need future mathematicians. Keep up the good work." The conversation then turned toward discipline and responsibility. The president asked who the class leader was and whether they ensured that their classmates behaved well in the teacher's absence. "Being a good student means being disciplined, respectful, and responsible," he emphasized. "You must listen to your teachers, respect your parents, and always do the right thing. This is what makes a good citizen. Do you know what it means to be a good citizen?" The children nodded enthusiastically. President Traoré then explained the importance of solidarity, urging them to support one another and to uphold the values of their nation. Solidarity means standing together, helping each other, and working for the greater good. "That is why we fight for our country and never give up," he said passionately. As the visit progressed, he encouraged the children to take pride in their national identity.
Bravo. Donc vous chantez l'hymne national. Vous savez ce que ça signifie? Attendez.
You all sing the national anthem, but do you understand its meaning? The fatherland or death, we shall overcome. This means we must always defend our country. No one should come and take it away from us. Do you understand? A resounding yes filled the classroom. President Traoré then shifted the discussion to cleanliness and environmental responsibility, instructing the students to keep their surroundings clean. You see those plastic bags littered outside. You must pick them up and put them in the bin. If you see someone littering, tell them it's not right. We must keep our country clean.
Bye bye, au revoir. Et bonne chance.
Bonne chance.
Beaucoup de
Au revoir.
C'est pas
Thank you,
facile.
Dave.
As he prepared to leave,
Oh wow, this is awesome, Miss McClean. I could have watched some more. We only have probably about 5 more minutes in this segment because
Right.
we, But go ahead, please.
But the point I wanted to make in doing that is that if we start to analyze what has gone wrong and try to right it, that was a simple but very powerful message to those children. And imagine if, and we know children, you have 3 sons, and you know that when their teacher or somebody told them something. Now
Yes.
the president of the country has come and he has spoken to them at a level, and I hope you noticed the children were using slates. I don't know if it tells you, it's about simplicity and so on, but the message to me was very powerful. And what it said, those children will remember the visit of the president of the country and the message that he shared. Imagine, however, if they see him engaging in behaviors or actions, that contradict his whole thing about integrity and commitment to country and not letting others come and the point he made, this is not a poor country. I mean, I have been to Burkina Faso maybe about 10 years ago, and it was, to all intents and purposes, what we saw. It was poor, but we understand what was happening in that economy. Mm-hmm. But he's saying to them 2 things. One, we are going to change that situation to the benefit of the population. And I really hope that we can do. I want to share one example of what we need to do, because as you said, we have about 5 more minutes. One of the things that concerns me is that we do not seem to appreciate that part of what we are seeing is an alienation of our young people. I think a lot of people, this whole thing of hopelessness, the word the Prime Minister used, we have reached the stage where by the actions of the people in critical positions, whether it is in the private sector, the public sector, and some other spheres, people are saying they're not making decisions that are intended to be in my best interest. They are making decisions that benefit a few. And we talked about agriculture, and I'm going to use one example. I heard the Minister of Agriculture boasting the other day about bringing to Barbados, I think he said 6 freight farms. Now, I smile because a friend of mine and also an in-law of mine, we were looking at these things, right? And just the information that's available to you online probably demonstrates that that is not the best use of resources. A freight farm, Marcia, right? To set up, to get here, and it will cost perhaps about $200 US. 200,000, sorry, US dollars. That's 400,000 Barbados. And with freight, because a freight farm is like a large container setup, the operating cost is going to use a lot of energy. The point I'm making, if you bring in 6 of those at 200,000 US, 6 twos are 12, that's 1.2 million US, or about 2.4 million. I can bet that if you put that into some other sustainable agricultural projects where people are using natural sunlight and they're using shade houses, not greenhouses, to keep out insects and so on, or other kinds of more simple and better suitable to our situation, you can probably empower several young graduates of the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology who studied agriculture, or students from the BCC. Or we can take some young men who fall into a category that I came across in a study that I was reading on unemployment of our own youth. There's an expression, neither in educational, employment, or training. So they're not in education, employment, or training. These are young people over 16 because, you know, in Barbados, you're supposed to go to school. Compulsory education is until 16. So my point is, I would want to see, and we can hopefully get into some more of these discussions, some very practical opportunities which are not capital intensive, but can actually be very transformative, because these things are out there, but they cost a lot of money. I remember when I was in government, some people were talking about greenhouses, and I remember somebody brought, public officer gave a proposal, and the way one of my colleagues described it was, why did they choose the Rolls Royce of these things? In other words, they look for the most expensive thing. And I really think that there are some cost efficient, community friendly, you know, opportunities that can make a difference in communities. Agriculture is one. You are in the business of film and the creative arts. There are opportunities out there, and we can talk about those with some support from the government. Community tourism in all its facets can be done in relation to the making a difference. You see, the optics costing us a lot of money, and the pretty talk will get us nowhere. And furthermore, when we see persons who have adopted Barbados as their home, or who opt to spend time here because they have resources, and seek to ignore the traditional patterns of recreation or land usage or access and that kind of thing, that will anger people. That will create a them and us situation. And I think, Marcia, we really need to move away from that, from all the fancy talk, because we have started in a very wrong way. And I am very concerned that unless we get past this and we take some of the resources that are being wasted, we have talked about that for the entire last year and so on, that we can start to make a difference in the lives of some of these young people. But I'll pause there because I see you have your next guest on.
Yes, thank you, Miss McClean, but excellent. I love what you did there, and what you did, it brought such a positive feeling to the show, to see what Traore is doing there in Burkina Faso, and what the possibilities are. I thought that's great, but don't go anywhere, because we're going to we have with us Michelle. Now we have something
Right.
that we're starting called Dumplings from the Diaspora. All right,
Michelle, I hope you can make dumplings.
Michelle, you like dumplings?
Of course.
Marcia,
I love a
before you
dumpling.
start, I had dumplings today. I got soup from my sister. Go ahead, anyhow.
well, whether this is cornmeal dumplings or coconuts, because they can do coconut dumplings, or whatever kind, cassava dumplings, we're dealing with every Wednesday. We have we're doing, well, throughout the show at different points. It's really supposed to be on a particular day, but depending on what comes up. But we have something called Dumplings from the Diaspora, and tonight Michelle, who is from New York, okay, Michelle was on the program last week, Friday, and she is dumplings in the stew, and she is going to be speaking to us about something that she observed. She is in Florida, and she observed something in Barbados, and I think I sent that video to Dave. But so let me give the floor to Michelle now. Welcome, Michelle.
Welcome. Good night, Barbados. Good night, everyone. Thank you for having me on, Marcia. I thought I didn't know it was gonna be tonight, but I'm all right with it. I came in.
I think I made a mistake. Now that you came on, I realized it's supposed to be Friday.
It's all
I
good.
made
It's
a
all good.
mistake.
It's all good.
Not
I
you.
stay ready. It's all good.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I just only about a minute ago, I'm like, it's supposed to be Friday.
It's all good.
I am sorry, Michelle. I'm sorry.
all
Go
right.
right ahead. You can start now and finish up Friday.
That sounds good. Well, one of the things that I've noticed, people, we in the diaspora, we get a lot of news from Barbados. We see all the things, all the newspapers broadcast. I pay attention. Um, I like to keep up with Barbados, even though I'm not there right now. I love Barbados. One of the things I've noticed this week was the Ministry of Culture had a little news press, and the Nation News happened to capture it, and it was discussing some funds they received in order to move some artists forward and get some artists recognized. One of the things that if I don't know if Mr. Weeks can play the video.
Yeah, so we have it here. And folks, before she continues, please pay attention to what this is. A very, very serious thing that she would have picked up, and a lot of us might not have. And that's why you need the diaspora involved. Go ahead, Dave. Thank you so much.
We recently acquired, because of his funding, 4 high-level cinematic cameras, 4 high-processing laptops and computer systems for video editing, 1 fully branded vehicle for visibility and mobility for this shared project. Our goals basically are to expand youth, talent, and culture across the international region. If we don't use it for a while, music. We don't use it for a while for years, and to me and to the team, is not reaching the international levels as expected. For instance, if you look at the Jamaican artists performing for 100,000 US, 300,000 US a show, that is income, that is foreign exchange. It's time that Barbadians, our culture, we should be able to perform for 300,000 US a show as well. Imagine 1,000 Barbadian artists performing for that. Imagine that income. Better yet, imagine 1,000 Rihannas bringing in $1 billion in revenue.
People see that they have, again, a fully branded van, again, as part of the $1 billion that they've indicated they have been able to raise for this initiative. So we really look forward to working with them. We will provide any support that we can from the Division of Culture, the National Culture Foundation for this event. And the final thing is, I think what Mario said, just in relation to how we have to be able to build the sector, really highlights what we have been saying, National Culture Foundation, over the last 2 years, about moving away not from competition and focusing really about developing the sector, developing the lyrical content, developing the production, developing the marketing, and therefore it really kind of grounds proof what we have been saying. And so we're very happy to endorse this initiative.
Okay. While it looks nice on the surface, and it looks like they're attempting to, get funding or somehow or another move artists from Barbados and let them get a broader audience. I noticed something in the article by The Nation. In the article, there is a company or whoever is funding this $1 million. Grabba-dabba-do. 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 What is Grabba-dabba-do? After doing, looking it up, because you want to know where people are, where the money is coming from. $1 million someone just decided to give, or the ministry involved in an organization that's giving money. Who is vetting? Who is asking? Where are the funds coming from? So I looked up Grabba-dabba-do, and I noticed that it's attached to, it says in the article, it's a tobacco company, and it's also attached to vaping cigarettes or the vaping industry, which is also now part of the tobacco industry. One of my concerns with this is, why would culture be attached to this industry? you giving $100 million. Is there something attached to it, like branding your vapes or your cigarettes, or like explain how this money or this company is good for the culture? All money is not good money. So that was my concern. It's attached to vaping. I know we were going to get on the topic about Molly's, and I know last week I discussed that Molly's was about 20 years old here in the US. The problem in the US now is vape cigarettes, and they're easy access because the children can just, like, we used to go get cigarettes out the store. It's the same thing. You can get them out the store. So that is my concern. Like, when you see these things, you got to ask questions like, yeah, we want artists, we want young people to make it, but like I said, all money is not good money. Why would the Ministry of Culture attach themselves to a cigarette brand, tobacco brand, or a vape company? Or did they even ask where the funds was coming from?
Yeah, wow. I'm here just listening to you, and I tell you, this is why it's so important to have the diaspora involved in this this whole exercise in keeping the government accountable. Do you hear the question she asked? So we normally, if we see something like this, what we do, we're like, yes, this is awesome, $1 million. But they're trained to think. So who is funding this? What's the company? What do they want? And if I'm thinking if this is a vaping company, that is, as you said, this is what's on the right? This
it's written underneath the article. It's written under the video. If you type in a grabber, it has something to do with tobacco and vaping.
And vaping, and that is it. That is what is happening. You go to the UK, to the US, you see the young people, teenagers, and everybody vaping. So you're telling me we're here, and this is the Prime Minister asking, how did we get here? We're here trying to figure out how did we get here, but we're taking money from a vaping company, and this has to do with young people and culture. Are they will we have to carry their brand?
Exactly.
Wow, interesting. Miss McClean, what are your thoughts on this?
No, I think it's important. In fact, I had seen the story. I didn't read the article. I'm sorry, I don't read a lot of what in the nation. You hear the same stories on VOB on morning, so I listened to that. But as you were saying, I went and I realized that it is there. Now, I can tell you that from all the research that you're hearing, vaping is perhaps even more addictive than cigarettes. Now, in the context of Barbados, this is concerning for me because over the years, cigarette smoking has been on a significant decline. But people are making vaping vaping when it started seemed to be was made out to be less dangerous. And so some people may argue, it's a sponsor, but the question is, there's a saying, nothing for nothing and very little for something. And so what exactly are they doing? Are they trying to bring because clearly if they are sponsoring it, I am sure they will have, we call them influencers these days. You will probably have somebody, vaping and it looks nice. I mean, it looks tripping to me because I stood up outside the airport last week, Wednesday, on my way back home, and I watched a couple standing in the public, and they were, just pulling out these huge plumes of smoke and whatever, which made me asking what are the rules about smoking in public places in Barbados. But that is concerning because it is associated with something which, from my observation, is not very big in Barbados at this point in time. I'm subject to correction, but I don't see a lot of people, maybe because smoking in public places is not, there's some restrictions there in terms of the rules.
I've seen it in Barbados. I've seen it
so
in
people have
university children.
You see that now? And where is the NCF? In terms of not only physical location, but where is it in terms of its audience, the the target groups it will be working with. And so that is, well, you see that now, the whole mechanism to do that can create other problems. So I really want to thank Michelle for highlighting this, because as you say, you would have probably read the whole article. I just heard it, and there was no mention of sponsors. I at first I thought, until you raised the issue of sponsor, that this was, and when I listened to the minister thanking somebody, that I realized that these were donations. This was a grant of some kind or the other. And so that puts a very different twist on the situation.
Yeah. Adrian Hines, who is in the diaspora, is saying to us that some U.S. states banned or restricted sales of flavored vapes, because what Dave was showing you before is how they have the different flavors. And they're attracting children, younger, children to be involved in it. And I'm saying, where's the responsibility of the Ministry of Culture? The Minister of Culture is, as far as I know, is actually the Prime Minister. What's her name? I'm not trying to be disrespectful. The name just left my mind right now. She is the minister in the Ministry of Culture.
Dr. Chantel Monroe Knight.
Dr. Chantel Monroe Knight. Okay. I'm saying, I don't understand. We're asking the question, Madam Prime Minister, of how we got here. How did we get here? How we got here is it's things like this that we're doing. In another 2-3 years, we're going to have a problem with vaping in the country. That's what happens, because, as Michelle rightly says, you're not going to give something and not want anything back in return. You understand? So while yes, we got $1 million, but what are we? What about the branding? He says some states have passed comprehensive smoke-free indoor air laws that include e-cigarettes. States have different taxes on vaping products, because the reason they're doing that is that there's a problem with it in America. So why are we there looking for a new market? Don't you think, Michelle?
Well, the problem in the U.S. is it is marketed towards younger people the same way we talked about the Mollies and how it looks like candy. These look like something fun to do. It's not where you light anything. I don't understand why people think that inhaling some oil or inhaling some sort of carcinogenic product would be safe for them, but people are doing it. It becomes addictive. Sometimes it has some form of marijuana in it. All types of things are put in these containers. Here, it is a serious problem amongst teens. It starts around middle school, 11, those tender years of 11, 12, 13, and then straight through high school. So this is the problem that we have with the young people of today here in the U.S., and it will be a problem anywhere else once it becomes cheaper, once it becomes easier access, once the government decides that it's okay to bring these products in. So like I said, I've seen university students, there's a little spot at the bottom of the hill. I've seen students in that spot smoking, so I know it exists in Barbados.
Yeah. What would be great is if this is something that the diaspora, because could take on as a project. Adrian, Michelle, and the others of you in the diaspora, Vihoy, etc., in writing to the NCF to ask them the questions that you're asking. Let's put a formal letter and make it an open letter that goes to the NCF, goes to the Ministry of Culture, but goes to the newspaper as well. Ms. McClean, I think this is because the diaspora, they are very aware that this is a problem that is in America that they're trying to curb, but not us. Not us. We can't see that this particular company, Michelle, is trying to get into a market. They are trying to get into a new market with a product that they're being highly taxed. That's been highly taxed in America. So
one of the biggest problems also is subsidiaries. Like you go look for this name, Grabber Dabadoo, or whatever they call themselves, and it's difficult to find out who's actually part of it. Like where did they come from? Because states like New York, where marijuana is now recreational, they still have not, you get a permit. You need to get a permit to sell certain products. And there are shops open that they are not registered because it takes so long to, for your application to get to the state and go through this whole process. So people are out there just selling whatever they feel like selling. So at this point, children can have access to just about anything. You go in the shop, go into what we call a bodega, corner store, and you just pick these things up, or whoever's selling them. I'm assuming you can also purchase them online. I mean, every child is online. Every child has some sort of access to make a purchase online, a cash app. I am not exempt from this situation either. I have a 15-year-old granddaughter, and I went through this already with her. One of the biggest concerns, not just children themselves having it, it's because here they will it be criminalized. Like, so for example, like one child gets injured from it, whether he gets let's say he gets an asthma attack or whatever the case may be, they would want to know who's bringing it in, what child had what, and that there's a whole group of children involved in it. So that brings your child into it, even if your child is not even smoking. So this is also a concern, like the whole group gets involved and then your child is criminalized. So, and they don't think it's anything. Everybody's, holding it for this one, that one holding it. I hear the story. I wasn't smoking it. I was just holding it. I'm not exempt from that either, but I have to know. And you have to be one of those parents that's, we looked at our children for marijuana. We looked at, parents looked at us for marijuana and for smoking cigarettes. You now have to look for vape and mollies and all these things that children bring home in their bags. I was just holding it story is what you're going to get.
Marcia.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that there are a couple of things, because the incidence of asthma among our children is pretty high in the first already. And I'm looking here at e-cigarettes and teens as an article, and they're talking about the health risk, nicotine addiction and so on. And the ironic thing is that it's been a long time since entities in Barbados would have used sponsorship from cigarette companies. You don't see that in Barbados. So that is interesting, because we don't see that. And that's probably one of the reasons why, I remember as a child and as a teenager, you had these very elegant advertisements with advertising cigarettes and sponsoring events and whatever else. Mm-hmm. All of those things were prohibited. So why are we going to allow a cigarette equivalent, which to some extent, when you start to read the literature, they're saying perhaps is even more addictive. And if you're starting with children, because I mean, the things, as you said, they look cute, like little playthings and innocent, whatever, just like those little pink gummy looking things. This can open up a serious addiction problem. On top, only today I was listening to a discussion about the issue of the legalizing of small quantities of marijuana, and how that is not, how can it effectively police it. And now you're opening, and I noticed, Michelle, that you mentioned that you do not know exactly what substances they may have in the oils or whatever they're offering. So you can addict a whole generation or significant percentage of a generation of persons under 20, let's say, in a very short time. And the truth is, for $1 million, a program like that can be funded out of some of the government budget, because that's where I thought the money came from.
The children here have injuries, like respiratory injuries, not just asthma, like serious lung damage. And, they're on oxygen after that. Now they have like PSAs where the children are actually part of the PSA, explaining like what they did and how that, they're not breathing the same way we have, like cigarette PSAs. But here it's, alcohol, tobacco, and cigarettes is kind of regulated under the same umbrella. So you would not see these products at like, let's say, athletic events. They are not going to be sponsors for things of would involve athletes and health and stuff. Alcohol is the same thing. How can you have alcohol at these type of events or sponsoring these type of events? They serve alcohol at the events, but you will not see. You ever looked at a tennis match? You look at the banners in the court. You're not going to see an alcohol or vape banner.
Mm-hmm. But and so this is a concern that we have, and if anybody from this administration is watching the show, please give the message to the Prime Minister as she's asking how we got here. And I agree with her that we must save this generation. Ma'am, we agree with you. We must save this generation. But when through the Ministry of Culture, we are going to have a sponsor of something that's such a dangerous activity, or something that is so dangerous to human beings. It is something that America is trying to curb. However, we have just allowed this company to come in and to take up space in this market. All because we are saying we're taking $1 million to show what what culture is doing for young people. It's going, in the end, it's going to destroy young people. Yes, there are shops. Somebody said that there are shops that's already selling vape products. We understand that. What we're talking about, guys, and so you've got to pay attention. What are we talking about? We're talking about a government entity. A government entity is going to sit with the banner of a vape company behind them, accepting money, right? That is supposed to be used for young people, for development of arts and culture. Don't you think that their banner and their branding will have to be somewhere? The NCF, they will have to carry it somewhere, because nobody is going to give you money like that for free. You're going to have to reciprocate. Something has to happen. It is called business, right? So that is what we are talking about, guys. That's what we are talking about, right? And Michelle, I thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. And I am, you know what? Because we're dealing with the youth. And so, and you know, I was messaging you today, but you're thinking it's Friday and I'm thinking it's today. I think because it's a youth, I made a boo-boo there, but it worked really well. Yeah. You know, I think Michelle,
Yes.
Miss McClean, I'm sorry.
I was saying yes, but when you're finished, I want to read something that I'm looking at here. But I
Yeah.
thought that the timing worked out perfectly. That was supposed to happen this way.
Yes. So Michelle, if you can get together with somebody in the diaspora and let us talk about the Mali effect and so on for for Friday. Okay, I'm putting you on the spot. So sorry about that. Okay, but somebody's saying it's going to create serious health challenges. Yeah. Yeah, I think that this is so important. Michelle, if you can get together with others in the diaspora and write an open letter. And I think it's going to be powerful coming from Barbadians in the diaspora, because you have had that experience. You're living there.
Sure.
And I've had the experience, and I'm going to take you up on that. You know, I know Adrian is saying that the letter should come from Barbadians, and you're Barbadians too. You're in the diaspora, and we count you as well. But Adrian, if you don't want to do it and you want to just give the information to Michelle, we would appreciate it. It's all about the get up and do. So I don't know if I still have your number, and you can message me. And do you know Adrian Hines, Michelle?
No, I'm not familiar. I don't think so.
Okay, so we're gonna connect you all. So message me again, Adrian. We're friends again. Message me again, Adrian, and let's connect you with Michelle. We're people of action here, right? And we're going to get that letter out and sound the alarm about this in the early. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we have with us here Mr. Victor Lewis.
Hello.
Hi,
my dear.
Victor.
Yes, and Victor Lewis is here to talk about abuse of land. And you might even say, somebody might say, what do I have to do with young people? It does. What do we have when we abuse the land and sell it off all to the foreigners and send it to all people? You know, what's going to be left for our children? Where are those spaces? or that the children could go like the Joes River and have some good fun. Where are those spaces now for our young people, Mr. Lewis? What's going to happen to our young people? So can you give us an update on Joes River? Sir, good night and welcome.
Well, good night to the loyal opposition and certainly to your guests, the lady from Florida, and our other honored guests on the show. Maxine the powerhouse. I heard a word mentioned just now. This whole concept of generosity, and here comes this word again, as spoken by our guest from Florida, because it seems to be a buzzword.
Yeah. Can you turn up your volume a little bit? You're said to be low. I don't know.
I don't know. You hear me better?
Okay. Can you those who are listening, can you let me know if you're hearing him well?
I am hearing. I don't know about the audience.
Oh.
Okay. So keep going.
Well, fine. But this thing about generosity coming with these beautiful gifts to Barbados. What are the consequences, as discussed there just now by our guests from Florida? What are the consequences when we accept this $1 million or $1 billion, whatever? What are the consequences of that money coming into Barbados? And as rightfully said, rightfully discussed, this big banner at the back of us, and what are we promoting? When we can see the destruction to date going on in Barbados, are we going to be subscribing to this? But of course, we have a leader that appears to be all she's concerned about is money, 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 money. But here's these two young folks promoting this. And here is a lady from the diaspora digging deeper, looking behind the scenes for the consequences of this behavior. I want to take you to 3 areas in Barbados, and 2 carries the same buzzword: generosity. We come with a gift, and of course it is a business. What do we get in return? And it's the same concept here. We come with a gift to give you beautiful car. We promote all your artists. What do we get in return? But we are being warned that the consequences will be a continued destruction of our youth. But before I get there, I want to take you to Martin Bay. We would have gone to Martin's Bay sometime back, and I would have shown you some activity in the Martin Bay area as far as the development of the land there is concerned. I paid a visit to that area, and I spoke with a gentleman by the name of Rick. When I look at the area, I would have want for Dave just to play those videos for me. This particular building here is a proposed plan for a restaurant and bar, as the case may be. So that's in the same area there, just adjacent to the sea. So that's the plan for that area. The last time we went there, that was in construction, and now they have developed that into a restaurant. That in the Martin Bay area. There are 2 more videos coming up. So they would have purchased 2 sets of land. That particular area of land there, they are putting a restaurant there, and then they are developing the environs in that particular area. Now, we had questions last time around relative to the actual plot of land, and I had extended into the sea. And we were concerned that, you can't claim you own the sea. So this particular area here, I had question marks about this the last time I visited there. Now, to the left, that sign is there, allowing us to know that that area is private. But Rick said that the area to the right that once carried a sign as being also private, they are saying now that the one to the right is public access to the water. If you're going to the beach, you're free to go down there and go into the beach and enjoy yourself. But to the left, that's a private area for those who, you know, would be supporting the activity at the restaurant, as the case may be. So this is a significant change to what occurred before. Once upon a time, they were saying that this is private, no public access, but that has changed. And now it is being said by Rick that the area to the right, down to the sea, public access, the area to the left, private. And we can deal with that. I don't have no difficulty there with that at all. I think that's fine. So we are getting somewhere as far as this Martins Bay area is concerned. But I want to take you a little further, because that is only one portion of the plot. There's a section that has been purchased by the same individual adjacent to that. And I would want for Dave just to bring up those videos to show you the activity going on there. Now, this is the Scotland district area. It's an area where we know is subjected to a lot of land slippage. So this area here, once we had a whole lot of coconut trees. To the back corner, you can see the restaurant. This area here was a whole lot of coconut trees before. If you can just hold the video there stable, all those coconut trees have been cut down. All.
Wow.
All those coconut trees cut down. And they're packing the rocks now. It looks beautiful. It looks attractive. But I'm concerned about the possibility of land slippage in that area. I grew up in that area. I was born in Newcastle. I raised up in an area now called Serenity Hills. That's Foster Hall. We call it Hazel Hill. I grew up in that area until about 12. I would have left that and come on to the St. Joseph area. All that area there in Foster Hall, you know, we do get a whole lot of land slippage. The worst roads you can think about is in the area of Foster Hall. A total landscape of land slippage. So I have my concerns relative to this particular activity, because I know, yes, the fibrous roots from the coconut trees are still intact in the land, which is good, and that can help to retain the land from the slippage. Now, what Rick told me, that they have cut down the coconut trees, but they plan to replant coconut trees in other areas to assist with the land slippage. Now, when we look at that complementing each other with the fibrous roots in the land and replanting trees, I'm saying yes, you know, that is acceptable. And the view of developing the area as a nice tourist spot, the prospects looks good. I must say I was very impressed with the workers there. The conversation was very much, hospitable and very receptive. The area is looking beautiful. There have been positive changes, and Rick said to me that they plan to develop that whole area, especially also for individuals who are doing hiking along the beach. So it is looking good in the area of Martins Bay, but my only concern is the possibility of land slippage, because that area is very much prone to that. So I'm hoping that in the Scotland district, if we can see a better regulation of activity in the area, because we don't only get slippage there, but we also get slippage in the area of St. Joseph, of which I would want to go to know.
But before you go on, can I ask you a question? Can you make it clear to our viewers what does that mean for people who live in that area when there's land slippage? What does it mean to residents?
Well, you see, across the whole Scotland district, when we have government allowing this kind of development, we need some serious oversight relative to activities in terms of the actual construction of buildings. We know the one there in the bottom of Cleversville, that is sinking. And we know that when you remove trees, because we've been encouraging people to plant trees, but you have an activity now where people are allowed to cut down trees, right? But they're going to be, but Rick said they're going to be replanting in other areas, right? There, it's beautiful. Now that road is cut from there straight down to the sea. I've hiked that area before, and there was never a road coming down that hill straight into the sea. So if you can just play that video, Dave, play the video there in full, and you will see this particular area now is cut straight down to the sea. And there was never that road. There was never that road. Look at how that land up there is, and nothing is in it or that land. That cutting there straight to the sea was never, that never existed. That was a cliff before. And they are allowed now to go and just cut that cliff down and make a road to the sea. Now for development, yes, the aesthetic value, looking good, yes. But how can you assure people that the activity there will not affect properties going inward from the sea?
Right, the ones that are lower down.
No, not lower, the one that are higher up. As you go up to the higher Martin Bay area, as you go up to Churchview, as you go all up on top of Hackton's Cliff area, you know, as you go all up into Pothouse, right? Because you're having slippage in the area of, let's say, Serenity, in Foster Hall, in Newcastle, in Glen Burnie. You're having slippage there. And if that is being prevented because of the reinforcement at this point, right adjacent to the sea, when you go and you call and you bring about this type of construction in that area, we have to be very cautious that this doesn't add to the slippage of lands higher up, affecting properties higher up. And I'm concerned about that because this is the Scotland district. We just can't do it willy-nilly. Looking beautiful, I can appreciate that. The aesthetic value, beautiful. They are attempting to do a good job, but I'm hoping that in their pursuit of bringing that into a nice area where you know the general public can enjoy, that we don't get a serious problem in land slippage in the area going forward.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The question is, who is actually doing the development? This is government development or is this private development?
Well,
I have engineers come out and assessed.
The development is private, but of
how
course,
does the government allow private to come in? I mean, I can understand you bought a lot, you bought a piece of property, and outside of the fence still belongs to government. Like the part where you were showing where the coconut trees, but if you look above, you had the restaurant fenced in. Now, is that the end of the property line for the restaurant or the private owner? And then after that, is that considered easement or government property? How is a person cutting trees that don't belong to their lot?
No. The actual area there that is shown being developed, it actually belonged to, and that is not an area that is not owned by the developer. The developer owns there. Wow. He purchased the lot where the restaurant is being built, and this is an adjacent lot that the individual also purchased, and they purchased it with a view of developing it, right? So the development in itself, aesthetically, when you know what it looked like before and how it looks now, there is a significant improvement. It looks good. I must give them that. The workers there, they were very cooperative. They discussed. The gentleman said, well, the owner is not there at present, but if he can come back when the owner is there, he'll be able to give greater insight. So I don't have a difficulty with the development. It is looking beautiful. I must commend them for that. But the probability of land slippage seems to be in question, and I'm hoping
that was to ask the question about engineering.
Right. So these type of projects are normally done in conjunction with the government. All right. So government plays a role in terms of the approval of these projects, and individuals from the different ministries, especially the planning and development department, they will come in and make the necessary checks.
Mhm.
All right?
I think if I can jump in here, I think what Michelle is getting at is if and we know that planning and development is involved in it. The question is, have all the checks been made by the proper structural engineers and all of that? And did they check to see that we're not going to have this kind of land slippage? And the reason that these questions are being asked, because we've seen situations in other areas where our green spaces are being taken up, our water spaces are being taken up. And so these are questions that we have to ask. Is it development as aesthetically awesome that it is it going to, I think that's what you're asking.
Correct.
Is it going to endanger us as a people? The people who have houses, as you said, higher up, and I think that's what Michelle is getting at.
The reason I'm asking is I'm from St. Joseph too. So I know like areas like Vaughn's where land slippage, I understand that. I'm from that area. So I've seen where, like now if you go to where at the let's say parish church in St. Joseph, all of that is land slippage. There is nothing that, like you should be building in that area, because if you go down Vaughn's 1 and 2 and 3, there's only one entrance now that you can go by a car, because it's all land slippage, and they didn't do anything. St. Joseph to me has been just left out of, like, it was just forgotten parish sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I love this lady. This lady's on the ball, man. She's talking about my backyard.
Yes.
One, man. Bonds one, slippage galore.
That's where I'm from. Okay?
Yeah. And you know that our representative, I don't know, but he has not turned up. So that area is in a mess.
Yes.
So any person coming over to Bonds one, now you need soup, just know they got to get a ladder to get from down there. Yeah, it's bad. They would come on down Horse Hill, and they would kind of show you, for the optics sake, they will show you the road paved between the graveyards, taking you down into Bonds 2, and you feel that something is happening. But when you go into Bonds 1, you realize that you're in the jungle.
You're in trouble.
It's bad, very, very bad. So let's go on to number 2, because it gets better, inverted commas. Maybe waiting on that video,
thank you so much for your work that you're doing. I'm going to take the pictures for us. Okay.
Yes. Now this one is at Beachmont. Let me just what's the name of my friend there from Vaughn's 1 or Vaughn's 2 or Vaughn's 3? Michelle. Right, beautiful. So Michelle, this is Beachmont Park.
Okay.
Right, and this is down Bathsheba, just to the west of Tank Bay. And I want for you to read on there. Go back there. Go back. Bring back. Beautiful. You see the word there, generous, again?
Yeah.
That same word, generous, was used with the artists. What a beautiful, generous offer we are making. What are the consequences? So here's this plaque. Now, when you go down to Beachmont Park in Bathsheba, you will see this. We are thanking Michael Anders for his generous support and contribution to the Beachmont Community Park. And adjacent to this, we have the Hillcrest Community Center. So let's play the video. So that's our Hillcrest Community Center over there. So, here again, we have a philanthropist coming in, giving us a generous offer. But what does he get in return? What do they get in return? They're giving us another generous offer now, on your part, in terms of the artists. What are they going to get in return? A whole lot of our young Bajan girls and boys will either be end up in the grave, in jail, or otherwise. So this is our Community Park, Hillcrest. So they made a contribution to that. Go on to the next video. What do they get in return? And Michelle, again, this is St. Joseph. Michael Anders came and gave what was he given in return for that?
Mm-hmm.
Take me to the next video there. And I know, Michelle, that this one, Michelle, tell me where's that? I'll put you on the spot. I'll put you on the spot.
Michelle left too long ago.
Not too long ago.
I know you know now. You should know now.
Is this where the bus come and turn around?
Yes, the bus turn around just below there and in front
yes,
there.
That's where the surfers sit on top there. The surfers sit on top there.
Yes. So that's the point where we go. That's
Not
where all the tourists, all the tourists, that's west of the church. That's where all tourists, all Bajans go. We go on top of that hill. So what was given in return? What was given in return? So we know now the relationship between that plaque in Beachmont Park on top of the hill, looking over Hillcrest. What does that individual get in return?
Oh, I want to hold a minute. So I'm slow. So Michael Anders, the plaque, so they gave us this community center and all of that, and then what they get in return is a spot that the Bajans use to not
the Bajans, Marcia, come on, Marcia, wake up. The whole world, whenever they come to Barbados, use that spot to take photos. The whole world, not just Bajans. That's the iconic spot.
Yeah, this would be like a tour spot.
St. Joseph. Everybody goes there. So that individual comes up, and you know what is the plan? This is the plan. The plan is that we will no longer have access. Take the video back to the top again there, We will no longer have access to up top there anymore. That has now been given to one family.
Wow.
One family will now control that. When the entire world before we use that, all tourists coming to Bathsheba, all tourists coming to Barbados, and they come up Bathsheba, that is where the taxi drivers will take them to take photos of Hackerton's Cliff. They take photos of Soup Bowl. They take photos of the Cove. They take photos of Carawash, East Coast, Bathsheba, everything. They take photos from there. You can see all around from that point. So because of the generous gift up by Beachmont Park and up by Hillcrest, this has been given. And you know what is the plan? We have now been relegated. The plan is that area we will no longer have access to. They have now relegated us. We are now second-class citizens. That is what it means, Marcia. We've been relegated now. We are now no longer first-class citizens to go up there and enjoy that view anymore. We have now been relegated according to the plans for this project, that they will now build something for us, and we are relegated on paper to the spot below. Show us the spot below there now, Dave. Take us down. Here the relegation starts. Play the video. That's where, hold it right there. That's where we will be relegated to. So we had up top, because of the generous gift to Beachmont Park and to Hillcrest, this land was sold to them and given permission to relegate us from the top of the hill, and they're going to build something for us now at the bottom. And that will be for generations to come.
Mr. Lewis, can we just show, because I think this how you put this tonight, and it worked so well. I thought I made a mistake, Michelle, but I think all of this is ordained tonight, because Dave, can you just show the people what Michael Anders gave to Barbados? Okay, so it's we're in this thing of they're giving us this generous donation. Can you show us according to them, what they have given to us, and now what we've given, they're now taking over an entire sightseeing area. That is so wow.
So one family, and we will no longer have access to their some person just close to my heart. One of my best friends tell me, Lou, you see, in that plan, we can't go back up there no more. They're building something down bottom for y'all. No access up there anymore. And who approved that plan? Who approved that plan?
The plan was
yes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I
Planning and Development Department approved that plan because of a generous gift. On top here, we now give you the whole heart of the iconic point of Bathsheba to one family. One family. How can we sit down?
So those who are just watching, if they could show that this is the area that has been given according the based on this plot, Michael Anders, in grateful appreciation to Michael Anders, so your generous support and contribution to the Beachmont Community Park. So he gave this. And this is what it's a pattern that we're seeing with the planning and development that is under the Prime Minister Mia Mottley. So when she asked the question, how did we get here? We get here because you're selling off, you're selling the soul, you're selling those things that matter to us, where we can't go with our families to go and relax and enjoy that beautiful spot. We're not allowed to anymore. You're selling the very soul of Barbados, and that's why that's one of the reasons why we are where we are. Mr. I had to jump in there.
But you see this word coming all the time, it hurts my heart when I heard Michelle come on and talk again about another generous gift. But let's go on down. Let's go on down to Joe's River, because right on that project, and I mean, I don't know, again, divine intervention, I would hate to think so, but, the project there on top of the bottom of Cleveland, so that same project that we looked at just now, is sinking. Approved plan.
What do you mean?
Of that magnitude.
Where is sinking?
Well, I can get some photos on that for you.
When you say Cleavers Hill, remind me, which one is that?
Right.
Pardon me.
The video that we just showed,
right,
on top of the hill, that is the bottom of Cleavers Hill.
Right.
That is right at the bottom of Cleavers Hill. So when you stay up there and you stay up on that, and you're looking to the left, you're looking up Cleavers Hill. You look to the right, you're looking into the High Rock area, and that's the area of the sea there. That is Soup Bowl. All right. So if you continue down to this track, just bring back the video lower to the track there, just to the track. Bring the video down. Let's bring it down some more. Right. Hold it right there. That's where the train used to travel. The train. All right. So this is the train we're going through here. So as soon as you go around this corner, you can see all the water springing out from this project. And the walls down there are falling.
Yes, that's why I asked you, because when Dave and I went down there, we saw that. We saw the water was coming out. So you're telling me that project is sinking?
Right. That particular project that has been placed on hold, it is sinking.
Oh my goodness. And that
because it has been approved to be built on a spring. That type of construction. That type of construction had no right there, no right whatsoever. Now, we don't have a difficulty with construction. But of course, you're dealing with the Scotland district. And the minute you get movement in the land in this area, all the properties inward from here, and this is the sea, this is the end, just like Martins Bay just now, that's by the sea. So when you start to have movement in this area, all lands inward from there will be subjected to slippage. So all the properties going inward from there, all of Cleavers Hill, in the area of Hillswick, that whole area, Phillips Road, all that area, Bathsheba area, right up. When you get movement there, you will be affecting all properties in that area. And Michelle spoke to it just now with the kind of movement we saw in the area of Horse Hill. you know, that damage all of Vaughn's #1. And you have people down there in houses now, you know, can't even walk out comfortable because of the land slippage in the Scotland area. You just can't come and have any kind of development. You know, let's go on.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can attest to seeing the water there, and I saw it. Wow. So it's slipping. It's I want those are listening. We're getting ready to talk about Joe's River. Those of you are listening from the government. Did you hear? And I know you already know that property is what's the word you use, Mr.
It's sinking. You know,
It's
it had
sinking.
project. You know, it had project on hold. Project on hold. Yes, I went and I spoke with guys there, and there's another building being built just to the south of that. That's going back up Cleveland, and you can see the water actually springing out. I can take a picture of that. Where the water is actually springing out from under the building.
So
Water
you're
springing
telling me
out.
they built the town and planning department that is under the Prime Minister of Barbados gave permission for planning for building to happen on a spring? I'm asking a question because we're not understanding that. We don't understand it.
If you go to the left of that hill and to the right of that hill, you will see water springing out. If you go to the area of High Rock, you will see water coming out. If you go to the other side of that hill, you will see water coming out from the land. All that area, you have springs underground, and they are well aware of that and still give approval. I don't have a difficulty with the construction, but the type of construction, you can't come and have that amount of excavation of land in such an area to go down so deep, then to put in all of this concrete structure, and then you're coming up with weight on water. So the whole thing's sinking. Project on hold. It is not on hold for lack of funds. It's not on hold because, you know, the government had a second thought. It's on hold because the property is sinking. So maybe we may be able to get back our mountain again, but we can't restore it to how it was before. It has been destroyed.
Because they cut off a piece of it.
Everything cut down.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. And the government approved for that, you know, to give that to one family. And I don't know where the representative for St. Joseph was at that particular point in time when he could have allowed an approval for a project such as that, where he know very well that that particular hill is used by everybody coming to Barbados, use that area.
I want to comment when he's finished.
Go ahead, Maxine.
You know, I want to start with the last point you made, where was the Attorney General and the representative for St. Joseph. If you recall, the government very early went and changed town and country planning legislation. And I will connect the Attorney General to the legislation. No legislation goes to Parliament unless it is vetted and approved as ready and whatever to go to Parliament. And that would be done by the Attorney General. The point I'm making is that he had all opportunity to object, not only as a member of cabinet, but in his specific post of Attorney General and representative, because he should know the area. And I'm going to share this because as I was listening to the conversations, it took me back to 2010. And this is a Government of Information Service, Beauty of Barbados East Coast to be maintained. Bridgetown, Barbados, February 12, 2010. West Coast type development will not be replicated on the East Coast of Barbados. The assurance was given Wednesday by Prime Minister David Thompson as he delivered the feature address at the East Coast Village groundbreaking ceremony. And anybody recalling would remember that the then Prime Minister was pretty strident about keeping and preserving, because of not only the beauty, but the fragility. Because when you talk about springs, all of those things are known. We know the soil types and all of these things. And you're going to allow, and I just went and Googled the philanthropist to see who he was. At least there's at least one name, and I sent it to Dave, wondering if this is the same person. If this is the person, Mike Anders, that's one person who.
What's his name? Knows him. I think
So
Adrian.
the question mark is this the same person?
So we're asking a question.
Is this who it is? But you know, the fragility of that area is not unknown. And as you were correctly saying, heavy construction will not work there. Even outside of the on the springs themselves, it's dangerous, you know. So I don't understand why it is that somebody looks at it and they figure, oh, I have the money, so I can acquire this. And so I give a gift and I have this for me. And then we ask why our young men are disenchanted and alienated from all that's happening. So I don't know if this is the same person. This may very well be. So anybody, you would have to show the face, David, if this is the same person. But if it is him, well, I guess he can afford to lose some money if it doesn't work. But as you said, my friend, destruction has already taken place.
Mm-hmm. We will never have that. We will never have that as we knew it from before. It was a very beautiful spot. Had all the trees, grape trees, coconut trees. I made it works. And you could sit back there and relax. And you can go there anytime, day or night, 24/7, and just relax. Sit back on that rock, relax. Take your photo, just relax. Enjoy yourself. Now we have that no more. And I mean, what is interesting about this is that you're saying in 2010 that the then Prime Minister, Mr. Thompson, the stance that he took relative to development in the Scotland area. But the then Prime Minister in 2010 also canceled the Vibes Cartel show in 2010.
That's true.
So, you know, he canceled the Vibes Cartel show. He restricted that type of development along the east coast of Barbados. But now we are having in 2025, 2024, from 2018 onward, we're having an attitude that is totally opposite. Where no Vice Cartel is coming here. And of course, anything goes now when it comes to land use in the Scotland district. So we're having some interesting issues. If you travel along the East Coast, I must say that I spoke on the East Coast relative to the actual road signs and everything that was missing. And they have now placed the signs there. The white paint is in coming from Belplain, and they've just put in all of those reflectors, lights in the road and so forth. So we have something better now on the East Coast if you're coming to Bathsheba. They have turned up and they have done a job there. I spoke about all the holes in Bathsheba, and they have turned up and they have patched, well, I say 99% of the holes in the Bathsheba area. So I can say to Dr. Ferdinand that he can probably take a drive down Bathsheba now. The holes are not as bad as before. So we did get some response.
Well, thank you so much for your agitation.
I want to get to this Joseph issue.
Yes.
You know, this one is a very serious one because it hit me to the bone, you know. If we go back with this particular project and we go back a few years, and I'm saying the years here because this has been on the table for years now. Years, this has been on the table. When it first started off, we had this lady lawyer by the name of Finisterre. And Miss Finisterre said, you know, we're only putting up those blocks there, you know, to shore up the foundation from land slippage, from, you know, from soil erosion. I would want to say to Miss Finisterre, you told a lie. That wasn't true. And you knew it. That wasn't true. That's how we started off. That project, 2 gates to block us out from the left and from the right. The intent there that because of a generous gift to Barbados, that, as we know it, Joes River Bridge And if you go back a few months, a few years, you will see our Prime Minister again accepting that gift on behalf of Barbados, accepting that gift of a bridge that will take us now across the Carawash, that George River Bridge. And we all know that George River Bridge, that was a gift to us.
Mm.
You know, and again, the owner, just like the Michelle, the owner said, what generosity. My under says, what generosity with the artists, what generosity. So we have a lot of developers coming into this country with fine linen, offering us a generous gift. In this case, it was the bridge. And what do they get in return?
So hold a minute. So the bridge was given as a gift.
Yes,
by whom?
Marcia, come on, Marcia, you're sleeping, man.
I know,
Marcia, you're sleeping. Wake up, Marcia.
Listen, who gave us the gift of the bridge?
The owners of that property.
Oh Lord. So hold a minute. So it's the same.
Yes.
Wait, I
the
didn't
owners
realize
of that property, hold it, Marcia. The owners of that property gave us the bridge. They gave us Beachmont Park and Hillcrest, right? They gave us cars and all the above. What are they getting in return? With this particular project, they gave us what we call the bridge. The intent of the bridge was that we will now travel across the bridge and not down to the bottom and over to Calawash. So we will no longer have access. We will no longer have access to traveling down in the riverbed. We are now. Oh, come on, Marcia, man, you're sleeping, man.
No, hold a minute. Bear with me, Dave. Show the bridge. You know that bridge is so beautiful. Bridge right there at Joe's River. So that is what we got, so that we would leave them and the river alone.
Yes. No. When they give us the bridge, we will now have passage over the bridge. So we will no longer have access down the riverbed. So they are now given permission to put in gates, not sew up the foundation from land slippage, because I've been living there now for 50-something years and I've never seen that area slip yet. Never. You have a little erosion coming from music with the big seas banging into the bank. Yes, of course you will get, some erosion there. But as far as land slippage is concerned, in the area of that bridge, that's where the trains travel across that bridge. So they gave us the bridge. And
so
what do they get?
So we never had the bridge, because somebody's saying that, is it that they repaired the bridge for us and made it beautiful?
The bridge deteriorated over time. You see that beautiful bridge there? That was given as a gift.
I got you.
That was given as a gift by the owners.
So the same owners that are not the owners. I know I sound like I'm cutting you off, but I'm trying to understand, and so that the people who are watching can understand. So the same owners, thank you, Dave, who are putting up this barrier here are the same ones that gave us the new bridge.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
All right, I have a question.
That's the generosity. Go ahead, Michelle.
I don't understand how government doesn't own roads and bridges. I'm confused. The infrastructure of the country is not owned. Why are private people owning roads and bridges?
That's a beautiful question. I am hoping that Marcia could invite the Prime Minister of Barbados on this show to answer that question. I don't know. I know that we have used that. From the time I was a little boy, I used that area for all my little fishing, bathing, roasting, breakfast. In actual fact, we have something coming up next week, and we can probably talk about that a little later.
Yeah, it's on here.
I hear you all talking about dumplings by the diaspora, but the best dumplings are served at Joseph Gully. So coming up next weekend, the best dumplings will be delivered there. But let me get back to the point. this particular area, again, because of generosity, what they are taking from us is that we no longer have access down in the gully. That belong now to them, to Teacup and Saucer. They are cutting that off, putting a fence around it, and calling it their gardens. We
That's
no
why
longer have access to their.
That's why private people cannot own roads and bridges. That's the purpose.
Precisely.
That's why government's supposed to own those things.
And the intent there, that this gentleman was also going to build a barrier across the train line to stop us from driving in to that area. If you can play the next video there, Dave, I hope you have it. You know, I hope you have it. And this is not my Talanders now. If you can play the next video, you will see the video. You will see the gentleman. You will see the gentleman that has been so generous to us. And what are the consequences of it? I just can't sit back and allow these things to happen. And who am I fighting for? Am I fighting for Victor Lewis? No, I want to see it like me, not about here. You see my shirt? You see it, Michelle? I can probably get one of these to you up to Florida. Not about here. No, because this is the type of treatment. This is the gentleman there. Hold it there. I drove my vehicle like I've done for 50-something years. I drove my vehicle like I did all the time when I was in Barefoot, when I go down there with my dogs, when I go and relax, when I go and picking grapes, when I go hunting, I drive my vehicle down there. And now in 2025, after I've given 33 and a third and more to this country, Barbados, I can have a man coming out of Australia to tell me that I can't drive my vehicle there. Have mercy, man. How disappointing can we get when we can find this type of attitude towards us Bajans who have done so much for this country to be subjected to this? And what is hurtful about it, or what is interesting about it, is that we made this an issue in Barbados years ago. And just the other day, I'm subjected to this kind of behavior from an individual who only came to Barbados with fine linen. And what does he get? He gets the right to tell me I can't drive my vehicle down there. He gets the right to tell us he's going to build a barrier across the trainway so we can't drive down there. He gets the right to tell us he's going to build up 2 gates to block us out from Teacup and Saucer and from the George River Gully. He gets the right to tell us. And this is the final note I'm going to make on this one. This is the final note I'm going to make on it. Because I did my investigations, I talked to the bird on the fence, and the bird on the fence told me that that was not the only thing in the plan. The plan was, and we saw all the different drafts that came out. I saw them all. All they were sent to me, you know. Staircase, they were sending us into music. That was our entrance and exit from Teacup and Saucer. They were sending us into the George River Gully at the end. That's what the plan for us, but it gets worse than that. It gets worse. Part of the plan was that they wanted to allow us to have use of the George River Gully and for Teacup and Saucer, but that we will be timetabled as to when we can go in and when we must come out.
Wow.
Yes.
Madness.
Yes, that was part of the plan. I know that a proposal came to me saying that this particular area of land will be given to the NCC, National Conservation Commission, that looks after the parks and beaches, etc. I have no difficulty with that. But I had to say to the individual in question, when that is done, will the NCC be now used as a conduit to mobilize the expected laws coming from this developer? And I'm saying that one of the laws that he would want to institute is to determine when we can visit Joseph Gully and when we must leave Joseph Gully. And that was part of the plan for us Bajans.
And this is part of, so you're saying the planning and development department would have given him this the go ahead to do this,
leverage to do all of that. And the representative for the parish, well, I must say he came out and we had some discussions. But where are we in 2025? Where are we on the 5th of February 2025 that I'm driving to Joseph Gully to go as usual and relax and enjoy myself, my dogs and I am being castigated by this gentleman in question.
Well, on Sunday, listen, folks, because some of you on here, I could tell, I mean, you know, I don't have all of that history of Joe's River. I've been there through Mr. Lewis and others, you know, only in the last, I would say probably 4 or 5 years. But some of you have so much history there. And you know what, guys, we're going to go down there for a roadside parliament. You know, we did a march, we did a motorcade. This time around, we are going to drive our cars and we are going to park at the bottom of the hill and walk up. And we're going to go into Joe's River. We're going to put up our speaker system and we're going to have a roadside parliament in there. And we dare any colonizer, we dare any massa, right? Come and tell us we cannot be down at Joe's River. We're going to put up a sound system and we are going to have a roadside parliament. We're going to roast breadfruit.
Oh, yes.
Cook some soup inside the river.
Yes. Valentine dumplings, Valentine breadfruit, the whole works.
The whole works.
Yes.
You understand me? So they need to understand there is no colonizer. There is no massa that is going to stop us from eating breadfruit.
Marcia,
we are going down there. We're going to roast with breadfruit. Make sure everybody brings some breadfruit.
Marcia, understand, this is our history, you know. Our history is that before there were plantations owned by whites, and we owned the lands on the periphery because that was seen as rabland. The plantation now gone into what we call cowage. So you now have cowage fields no longer in use, being cut up and sold, you know. And now that we have tourism, you have the individuals who previously owned the land on the peripheries, they are now being ostracized. Gentrification has now been mobilized in this country, where all the lands now on the periphery of this country are now being taken by developers. And we are now ostracized and are being pushed back into the central parishes to be subjected to college and otherwise. And that is going to have a heavy impact on families, especially as it relates to taxes and all the above. So that's where we are in 2025, where the whites previously owned the plantations and now they are coming to own the periphery of this country, Barbados. We cannot sit back and allow it to continue.
Well, somebody here is saying after the breadfruit and is roasted and eaten, the land will still belong to the Muzungu. But listen, this is in court. So this Mr. Victor you see here, he's not just a talker. Mr. Victor was one of those who took this man to court and got an injunction, but he is defying the courts of Barbados and putting up his right. Am I right, Mr.
Yes, put up the caution tape. And we saw in the newspaper there, we saw it in the Nation 2 Fridays ago, that the court will be written, you know, that the council in question will write the court and ask him to remove the tape. Up to now, the tape, yesterday I passed there, and the tape was still there. So he's clearly defiant. He had no right to put that tape up. Oh, no. You know, so he has defied the representative, he has defied planning and development, the prime minister of our country. He has defied, everybody as far as I'm concerned, because he still has the tape up. And apart from that, he has all kind of signs posted, 7 signs in that small area there, 7 signs saying that we use that area at our own risk. All of that has been going on that property, and up until now, the courts can't stop it, the representative for St. Joseph can't stop it, nor the leader for this country, who has a responsibility of protecting us,
Protecting the land,
have not been able to stop it, because it is still going on.
Well,
but I'm hoping that the people will understand that we are refined. We are very refined people. We are not passive. We are refined. And I'm saying that in 1937, those individuals who stood up for justice were also refined people. So let us be conscious of that.
Yeah. And this is why on Sunday, February 16th, put on your clothes and let's go down there.
Mm-hmm.
These fields and hills, you understand? And we're not going to sit back and let nobody come from nowhere. You get me? So we go, this whole colonizer thing is not going to be working on us. You're going to put up tape. He should be, Miss McClean, I'm thinking he should be happy, glad this is not in a country that I'm very familiar with. Because somebody would have got a scissors a long time. You understand me? A big garden scissors, long time. So let me tell you all something. You understand? If this by law, this is supposed to come down, why is it still there?
Marcia, you asked the question. Victor asked the question. He's defiant, but I asked the question: who continues to allow him to do what he's doing?
right?
My concern, and I have grown up in this country for all the years, being very respectful of the judiciary and accepting what was then the separation of powers. But I am very concerned about a whole set of developments, which makes me question. And what is so ironic is that the representative for St. Joseph is the chief legal advisor to government, the attorney general. And all of this, I mean, this guy comes out there. You use the word gentleman. I wouldn't use the word gentleman for a whole set of reasons. The guy in white comes out there, and obviously I can hear what he was saying, but there's an aggression, and you're talking to a man born in this country, and you as a man who's come into our country and behaving like that. But he can, because he's been allowed to do it. He's been given permission. People have changed the laws to allow him to
Let me tell you, Miss McClean, we're going to make him famous. We will make him famous. Do you hear what I tell you, Barbados? I am telling you, let us make this man famous. Send this all across the world, and let's make him famous. Okay, he has money. That's his problem, Miss McClean.
Because that's it. I mean,
Marcia, you forget about the sense of entitlement. The sense of entitlement.
Of course. Sure. In other words, who are you people, or you natives?
Exactly.
Let me use the language that they would use. These natives are coming to confront me, when in fact you are here at our pleasure. But you see, when a government is going to go and change the rules, go and research. Go back. I say to the persons on this show, go and read the comments of the Prime Minister in relation to the debate on the changes of the legislation, town and country planning, and all of this, and see where power was in whose hands power has become concentrated.
Oh, let it be understood that I had no difficulty with the whole concept of we must respect the whole court process. If it is lethargic in anywhere, I really can't determine those dimensions. But I want to respect that. So when the injunction was given, let's accept an injunction has been given.
And follow that.
All activity on the site stops. He has no right to go there and put up that tape. None whatsoever. He went and put up the signs. Now he's gone and put up the tape.
Because nobody stopped him when he put up the signs. Nobody stopped him. And that's the problem, that we could be in, this is 2025, and we could be sitting down and let somebody look like him to come here and tell us what to do.
I don't
you understand the provisions of the cybercrime legislation, those provisions which was suggesting that we must be muted. Because we are not supposed to discuss these travesty. I call it a travesty, that a man can come in my country and ignore, you know, but he didn't do it by himself. He was given permission in an area where, I mean, some things need to be preserved for us as our patrimony, you know.
I'm serious, you know. This here, he should be lucky. He should be lucky. I know of a place very intimately, that we wouldn't even be here quarreling about this.
But Victor says, Victor, what was the word you used to describe the rioters in 37? And we are, what you said?
They're refined.
We're not passive, you know. We are probably restrained, but we act. You say, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we are going down there. We are going down to Joe's River. And Joe's River is symbolic. I know the time is gone, but this is so important. Joe's River is symbolic of all of the land abuse and misuse.
Precisely.
No, Manasseh King put my recommendation is not cut the tape. My recommendation is the court go and enforce your injunction. Exactly. You know, why should I have to go and cut tape when there was an injunction given? Somebody needs to go and ensure that the injunction is being observed.
I will not stoop so low
as to cut any tape.
No tape.
I agree with you, Victor.
Because I went there to remove the tape so that it will just go down. The gunman said that's the tape he's put there to caution people, and I let go of the tape and step back. He then began to walk. He walked from the top and was coming down those steps. And, you know, at the same time, he went into his pocket. You know, I didn't know what was coming out.
Okay.
But what came out was the phone. But there's so many other things that could have exited his pocket. Exactly. And I said that at that particular point in time, I said, boy, you know, it is a good thing that you can just hold your cool. Hold your cool. Because that is what he did. He walked from the top, coming down, you know, had all the noise, and then went to his pocket and pulled out his phone. Of course, he pulled out his phone, and I took out mine too.
All right, then.
Well, that said, where are the lawyers, the historians, the media, and the National Trust? And this is what happened. Mia Motley, you're asking, Prime Minister Mia Motley, you're asking, where have we, what has happened? This has happened because you have silenced and you have taken away the responsibility and everything from all these people that I just had up here. The lawyers, they're scared of you. Prime Minister Mia Motley. Okay? They are afraid of you. The National Trust, all those people cannot stop you from doing what you want to do in this country. That is what has happened. You are asking what has happened to us. Where did we go wrong? You is the wrong in this country. That's where we went wrong. We went wrong twice in this country. You and everybody knows it. I'm going to say it. And you all don't have to like me. It is the truth because we are thinking it. You are the problem. You.
He's trying all kinds of methods just to get a slowdown in traffic in that area, pedestrian traffic and vehicular traffic in that area, because he thinks he owns it. And that will not work in this country, Barbados. And I want to say it to me and all the others, not but here. Ain't gonna work. So we'll stand up next weekend. I invited the whole of Barbados, the whole of
Barbados going to come down. The whole of Barbados come down here and walk with your breadfruit. Come and do like what your four parents would do. All who want wash clothes, you want wash clothes? Bring clothes and wash. Bring your soap powder and wash your clothes and burn and do your breadfruit, and we're going to drink soup. The best soup in Barbados down there.
The water down there is more beautiful than the one in St. Lucie. Have mercy.
All right. Okay, folks, good night. We have gone over, but Lord, this was worth it. It was worth it. Sunday, put it in. Sunday, February 16th. Don't come and say you didn't know about it. You don't know where. Do the Google map and find out where to get to Joe's River. Put some people in your car and let's go down the road. Okay? Go ahead, Dave. I know Dave wants to play something there.
Them I will never make the great. Strength and security, build barricade. That can happen here in this country. I want just to know that the bitch belongs to me. That can happen here over my dead body. Tell Jack that I say that the bitch belongs to me. Look, that bitch is mine. I could pay any.
Okay, guys, so see you again on Friday, and we're gonna talk about this on Friday again. Okay, bye bye, guys. See you. Thanks to all the guests, panelists. Thank you all.
Marcia.
God bless. Bye bye.
All right, Michelle. Hope to see you in Barbados soon.